All right, so look, listen. So we are in the age of Aquarius right now. We are in the age of information, the information age. But what is also known as what? The age of misinformation. We always have to keep in mind that there's polarity to life. There's polarity to everything. So on the opposite of us being in the age of information, the opposite spectrum of that is the age of misinformation, right? Because in an abundance of knowledge, there's still lies. There has to be a lie where truth is. There has to be truth where a lie is, right? So what compelled me to talk about what I'm going to talk about today was, first off, it was a video of us giving honor to Chief, showing honor and reverence to Chief. And people see that as following. People see that as, oh, that's not Christ-like for people to be following, for this person to act like this. But let me help you understand something. First, I want to help you understand Christ. First, I want to help you understand Christ and what it means to be a follower of Christ. If you go to Luke 14, I think it's Luke 14:5. Don't quote me, but I know it's Luke 14. It'll say, in order for you to become a follower of God or a follower of Christ or a disciple, you have to not only hate your mother, your brother, your sister, your child, but you have to hate your own life. Listen to it. You have to hate your own life. Why was that one of the traits that you would have to embody in order for you to follow God? Well, because we've been born into a system that goes against God. We've been born into a system that goes against nature. So when you're born into a system that goes against nature, that means that you're programmed with ignorance. We all portaled into iniquity. We are all born cancer cells, right? So in order for you to follow God and truly believe God, you have to hate your own life. You have to hate the life that you have been given from Babylon. Remember, in order for you to get your new life, it ain't gonna cost you no money. It's gonna cost you to get rid of your old life. It's gonna cost you to surrender and go through that ego death of what you thought you once was so that you can become what you are. You see what I'm saying? So people out here not truly following the message of God. On top of that, it's saying Matthew 5. Hold on, let me double check. My fault, y'all. It said in Matthew 24 verse 5. If you want to go look it up right now, Matthew 24 verse 5. It says it. Right? We are in the age of Aquarius right now. During the age of Aquarius, or the golden age, or the age of enlightenment, the actual Christ, who y'all think is Jesus, the actual Christ comes back to humanity to fulfill the prophecy, to enlighten the minds of the chosen people, of the Allegios. Right? That's why we are in the age of enlightenment. 15 years ago, niggas wasn't talking about no Christ. Nobody was talking about, spirituality, none of that. Because we're going through cycles of consciousness inside of God's mind, and this is the time where we are become conscious that we're inside of God's mind and that God is coming back inside of the dream to wake us up from this hell that we've been living in. So if you go to Matthew 24:5, it's going to tell you that many will come in my name saying, I am the Christ, but will deceive many. Now, when we talk about Christ, man, we gotta, and this is, first and foremost, I want to get this out too. Shout out to the most honorable prophet, Allegio to Christ, the modern day Messiah. This is the modern day Messiah for all of humanity, particularly black people, melanated beings. You feel me? Now, it said that many will come in my name saying that I am Christ, but will deceive many. Now, when it comes to Christ, we have to first understand what Christ is. Christ is a consciousness. It is a mentality, an embodied morals and principles that an entity comes back and carries to be an example to the rest of humanity as to what we should be living like. That's what the Christ is. The Christ conscious is when you know that you are everything and no thing, when you know that you are not separate from anything. This is Christ's message. Christ came back to teach us to get in tune with nature. Now I look at all of these false prophets, and I call them false prophets because I see it and I call it like it is. They false prophets. They're not based in any objectivity. They're not based in nature. They're not based in getting back in tune with the planet. They're only based in getting attention and gaining a following. And this is another thing that I want to point out. People say, "Oh, y'all following nature boy and y'all following another man." Let me remind you of something. In order for you to be a good leader, you got to become a great follower first and foremost. Second, are you not a follower of the United States of America? Do you not follow the rules and regulations of your job? Do you not follow the rules and regulations of the United States Marine Corps? Do you not follow the rules and regulations that Babylon has set out in place for you out here? So what is a follower? And let me know if you are not a follower. Right? So with that being said, all of these false prophets, like I said, they can teach you about all type of different misinformation. Remember, in the age of information, you got junk knowledge. You have junk information. Everything is not relevant or relative to where we are going. Everything is not conducive to where we are going. You feel me? It's like people talking about, is the earth round or flat? That's not conducive to where we are going. We don't need to be focusing on if the earth is round or flat. We need to be focused on whether the earth is in good condition. How are we treating the earth? You see how that misinformation and junk knowledge distracts us and deceives us from the real truth? Right. So like I said, these false prophets can tell you everything about history, about AD and before Christ, BCE, and Haile Selassie and Martin Luther King and all these different types of titles and names. But let me tell you one thing. Christ didn't teach about names and titles and none of that. He didn't teach about his story, right? A lot of the stuff that we've been taught or that I'm listening people teach other people is shit that the white man has given to us to distract us from truth. And we're regurgitating that shit out of our mouths as if that is what the truth is. But the truth is nature. Nature is the controlling, compelling force of everything, of the whole universe. Christ taught people about nature. That's what I don't see a lot of these false prophets out here teaching people about. They can teach you about a name. They can teach you about David and Goliath and Andromeda and all this other shit. Anunnaki, they can teach you about all these titles and all this other shit. These fairy tale shit, this fantasy shit. But they can't teach you about nothing practical. They can't teach you about nothing realistic. They don't teach you about nature. They don't teach you science. Christ taught about nature. If you go to Matthew 24 verse 5, it says, look at the birds and the bees. They do not sow nor reap. Look at the birds and the bees. They do not sow nor reap or store away in barns, yet their heavenly mother provides for them. Christ also pointed and said, because remember, this was the passage that said, do not worry. Christ said, look at the lilies, look at the flowers of the field, and how beautifully they are clothed. Yet tomorrow they will be thrown into the fire. Are you not more worthy or valuable than those lilies on the ground? Christ was teaching us parables about getting in tune with nature. Reflection. So when we talking about Christ and we listen to these people say that they Christ, well, we have to have discernment. We have to use discernment when people begin to say that they're Christ. Well, you have to first understand how Christ is projected, how Christ is portrayed. Modern day religion and belief systems project Christ as a white man. As a white man. Listen. You're being deceived. You're being shown subconsciously an image of a white man. But if you go and read the Bible and you use your critical thinking, you use your objective thinking, your logic, and you ask yourself, well, Christ was born in the Middle East. He was born in Nazareth, which is Palestine. That's between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Cancer. That's between the tropic ley lines. If Christ was born near fucking Egypt, where the sun is at its most powerful, how is Christ white? Why are they showing us a picture of Christ? You see what I'm saying? You see how we're being deceived? You see how we're being deceived? Modern day Christians are worshiping Christ, who is actually a black man, but they think he's a white man because of what they've been shown subconsciously. But subconsciously, Christ is a black man. And modern day Christians don't even know that they worship in a black man. Because Babylon has been meant to deceive you from what the truth truly is. You see what I'm saying? On top of that, Christ is a scientist. Jesus in the Bible, man, I don't even want to use the word Jesus. I'm going to say the Eligio, because that's Christ's real name. The name Jesus is a Latin name, right? The Latin name Jesus is a translation of the Greek word Iesus, and Iesus is a translation of the Hebrew word Yeshua. Jesus cannot be translated into English. Mind you, Christ came to save people that speak what? English. Today, if Christ was to come back today, he would come back to save who? The most broken people of today. Who are that? Who are those? Black people. We speak English. So if Christ was to come back to save black people who are the most oppressed and marginalized today, then he would have to come back and speak the dialect and the tongue of those people so that we can understand them. Jesus is a Latin name. We don't speak Spanish. We don't speak Latinese, my nigga. We don't. You see how it's deception and how we don't critically think for ourselves? Now, the true Christ's name is Yeshua. That's a black man. But yet today, modern day Christians and modern day Christ believers, they worship a black man, but think that he's a white man because of the subconscious portraying of the image. But we don't realize. We don't pay attention. On top of that, if we gonna go into Christ, all these false prophets, you got to look at the walk of Christ. I heard somebody say, this person hasn't even had a life or death or came after death, a coming back from death story. Just wait on it. Because first off, you can't kill Christ, because Christ is the dreamer of the reality that we are in. For you to kill Christ is for us not to exist. So that's misinformation on top of that. Second, Christ went away into isolation, right? Christ took a descent to the underworld. Where is the underworld? The underworld is prison. So if you call yourself Christ or a prophet out here and you haven't been persecuted by your own people, if you haven't been persecuted by the judicial system and the government for your teachings and your beliefs and your way of life, then you're not a prophet. You're not a Christ. You're not the true Christ, right? If we look at the walk of Chief and we take a look at Chief's journey, Chief had following. He had many disciples that deserted him. Chief has a curriculum. He teaches us about getting in tune with nature. He actually teaches us not to live in tune with the government, to get away from the government, separate from the government, become your own government, and live in tune and harmony with nature. I don't know no other so-called prophet or teacher that's out here teaching that today. Christ is a scientist. Chief is a scientist. He teaches us to become scientists. Scientists are observers of nature. You are automatically an observer of nature because you are nature and you are conscious of what's going on, and your five senses allows you to observe what's going on in your environment. So Christ will come back to teach us about nature. That's why Chief teaches us about astrology, biology, quantum physics, melanin, grounding. Christ's not coming back to teach us about motherfucking Thanksgiving and all these different titles and names. No, that's all a fog. That's a smoke screen. That'll deceive you and distract you from the truth. Let's get to the heart of the matter. Let's get to the bottom of why all this shit is happening. In the beginning of the Bible, it tell you what. In the beginning, God said, "Let there be light." Right? There was the word, and God said, "Let there be light." God was hovering over the depths of the depths of the deep. That's quantum physics. And then God said, "Let there be light." The watery depths of the deep, that's the darkness, the quantum field of infinite possibilities. And then God said, "Let there be light." Words come from thoughts. That's thoughts coming from nothing. That's the mind being encased in darkness and your thoughts lighting up your reality. That is quantum physics. That's science reflection. If you are Christ and you're a true prophet, you're teaching humanity, you're teaching your following about science. Because that's facts. That is factual. That's what we can base ourselves in. We've been basing ourselves in what he said and what she said in history. Remember, history, his story. We live in the mind of white supremacy. We are not in our story. We're rewriting our story right now. But in order for us to do that, we need truth. And that's why the honorable prophet Eligio the Christ has come back in the form of the black man to fulfill this prophecy, man. So don't be fooled about all these false prophets telling you about the government and the Illuminati and this and that, this and that. No, man. If they not teaching you about science, if they not teaching you about astrology, they not Christ. Because remember, Christ is the Christ consciousness, the Christos. It's an understanding that you know that you are everything. If you're not studying astrology, then you're not under the understanding that you are everything. Because astrology shows you the mechanics of consciousness and how your thoughts are shaping your reality. How your mind is using your thoughts to shape your reality to give you what you see as life. Christ will come back to teach you about biology, about cells and all living things, and how to be in tune with nature, because nature is cells. Nature is made out of a collection of cells. Christ will come back and teach you about melanin and about being in tune with the sun. The sun is the most vital force for all living things. The sun is God, my nigga. And we are all fractal pieces of that sun, different vibrations and frequencies of that oneness. Christ would come and tell you to get back in tune and ground, put your body on the earth. And that's what Chief did. And guess what? As Christ, Chief was maliciously prosecuted and hated by his own people and of the judicial system of this time. Remember, Christ cannot be killed. There was no actual physical crucifixion because there is no death. There is no such thing as death. Transitioning is only a transition of the mind, of frequency. So what you saw in that courtroom in DeKalb County was Christ actually being publicly crucified for his character and for his teachings. Who else you see out here being crucified and publicly persecuted for their teachings and their message and how they were living? Everybody else that I know, and shout out to all black men and anybody that's trying to teach and raise the vibration on the planet. You feel me? I don't got nothing against nobody. It's not directed towards nobody, but I am directing it towards the lies, the misinformation. You feel me? Shout out to y'all if y'all teaching. That's good. But it's levels to this shit. It's levels to this shit, man. You feel me? It's levels to this shit. So don't be deceived, man. Don't be deceived. Do not be deceived. Christ will come back and teach you about nature. Yes, nature, because you are nature. Why am I coming back and teaching you about the Anunnaki? About Martin Luther King? Come on now, this shit don't make sense. None of it makes sense. So, understand, reflection. We are in the times where there's many false prophets. The true Christ is here, right? Y'all know him as Nature Boy. But guess what? It also says that Christ will come to his own people and his own people will see him not. Why is it that black people can't? Because it's already written in stone that Christ is a black man. So why is it the case that Christ will come to his own people and his people will see him not? Well, because black people, we have been under the Willie Lynch doctrine. We got self-hate running in our blood. That shit running in our veins. So when we see a black man coming in glory and greatness and power and authority, we turn a blind eye to that because we don't accept the authority within ourselves. We hate ourselves. We don't see ourselves as an authority. We don't see ourselves as valuable. We don't see ourselves as special. When we the head of the planet, our melanin makes us the head of the planet. No, he should have never took the 7 years. You should have took the 7 years. What the fuck is you talking about? You should have took the 7 years. And let me put this on top of that, Florida boy. First of all, I want to give you this disclaimer. Chief is not in jail. He wasn't given life in prison. This is all an illusion. You can't lock up God. And you cannot give somebody life in prison who's free in their mind mentally. What the mind is doing, the body is doing. So to respond to that, you should have took them 7 years. And the fact that they wanted to give him 7 years and drop the rape charge shows that there was no such thing as that happening. Why would you want to give somebody 7 years and drop the rape charge and give them a charge that has nothing to do with the case? But since Chief denied all of the plea deals that they tried to give him, they gave life with no chance of parole with a 10-year consecutive bid to run after that. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That don't make sense. Why would you be willing to give somebody 7 years and drop the rape? You see what I'm saying? That don't make sense. If y'all have hard evidence that a person did something of that nature, y'all not trying to give no plea deals. Y'all know. Exactly, Gotiana. They knew they couldn't win, so they had to cheat. They cheated. And that's the part of the persecution that Christ went through. The government, I don't know if you ever seen what's the Christ movie? Passion of the Christ. Passion of the Christ. And you go to the end of the movie where the dude Barabbas was like he was like the president or something. He was like the top of the government. And the people brought Christ to Barabbas and was like, yo, we gotta kill this nigga. Like, this nigga talking about he God. This nigga tripping, y'all. We gotta kill him, yo. Barabbas, what we doing? Barabbas like, shit, this man ain't did nothing. I can't really do what y'all want me to do because he hasn't committed a crime. This man hasn't done anything wrong. And they was like, shit, something gotta happen. He committing blasphemy. And you letting him rock out like this. You letting him go through this. You gonna have to answer to this too. Basically, so Barabbas did what? Put Jesus. They let go of a murderer over Christ. They let go of a murderer and let him back free and persecuted and crucified Christ. You see what I'm saying? They cheated. Even the government, the person that crucified Christ knew that Christ didn't do anything. That person was just trying to appease the people, appease the sheep, the broken people, the lost people. That's what we're going through. And this is going to be revealed. Like, it's going to be revealed, y'all. Because in order for the prophecy to be fulfilled, Chief must get out of isolation. This is what y'all don't know. This is a must. It's inevitable. It's already written that it's going to happen like this. It's just that you have to have faith. And if your eyes can see and your ears can hear, then you know the truth when you see it. You feel me? But a lot of us astrologically are not enabled to see or hear the truth because the truth is not in us. So that's where you see a lot of these people being deceived by these false prophets because the truth was never in them. You feel me? The truth is never in you. If you can be misled from the truth, if somebody can mislead you from the teachings and the information that Chief has given us, then the truth was never in you. It was never in you. You were only playing as a catalyst or an obstacle or a stepping stone for the chosen. Same thing for the false prophets. That's chasing clout and trying to get attention and shit, trying to get pussy and shit. Niggas out here trying to be a prophet to get some pussy, to get some attention, to get a following. Where people following you to? What direction are you leading people to? Because everybody that's talking, absolutely, Florida boy, you can ask me a question. Absolutely. You should never ask me, can I ask you a question? Just say you got a question. You don't ask me that. I'm going to answer it. You feel me? But this shit crazy, y'all. Deceived. Don't be deceived. What's your question, God? What's your question? Because I don't see none of these prophets out here teaching people about science, teaching people about astrology, biology, quantum physics, melanin, grounding. None of that. None of that. How else can you know about God and how else can you know about life? Unless you study nature, right? If we're talking about spirituality and religion and belief system, we have to go to the root of things. Spirit, the etymology of the word spirit in Latin means spiritus. Spiritus means breath. Breath is energy, chi, ka. That's what gives you consciousness. So when we're talking about spirituality, we're talking about the study of psychology, the study of the conscious mind and how the mind works and how the mind is utilizing energy to give us what we perceive as life. We gotta dive into science. How do you know the information you were taught is right? Because I went and did my own due diligence. I went and did my own research. I went and studied astrology. I went and studied biology. I went and studied quantum physics. I studied melanin. I studied grounding. I studied the Bible. I study the Willie Lynch doctrine. I study what's going on between the black man and the black woman. I study what's going on in Babylon. I study sales. I study the lower self. That's how I know it's true. You want to know how you know something is true? Because it's a fact. A fact is something that can be experimented and repeated over and over again and come out the same, right? If you was to come outside,
Hi guys, what you cooking?
you know that it's a fact that every day at 6:37 a.m. the sun will rise. That's a fact. You can go outside and observe that every day, non-fail. That's a fact, right? This is how the knowledge and the science that Chief has taught me is. It's facts. We know that universal principles, right? The Hermetic principles, the law of correspondence, as above, so below. What's going on in the constellation is taking place down here on Earth. Oh shit, what's going on in the stars is taking place down here on Earth. So I'm a solar system. I'm the sun in human form. In astrology, I have a sun sign. I have a moon sign. I have a Mercury. I have a Venus. Oh shit, I'm a whole solar system. As above, so below. I need to be studying my astrological program and my solar system and how it is set up so that I can understand what's going on in my reality. Because my reality is contingent upon how my astrological program is set up. You follow me? That's a fact. Biology. Well, everything on the earth is what? The earth is a big ass cell made up out of what? Cells. Human beings are made up out of what? Cells. Oh shit, human beings are cells that make up the earth. We are one with the earth. That's a fact. You can go observe that in nature. You can go look into an electronic microscope and see that a human body is made up out of cells. The earth is made up out of cells. You see what I'm saying? Observation, due diligence. Go do your research. A lot of us out here, you ask me, how do I know that that's true? Because I did my research. Now, a lot of us can't say the same thing because we haven't done our due diligence. We haven't actually went and studied this information. Because I know one thing. When I was a kid and I used to hear biology, physics, biology, as a black kid, I'm not trying to do that shit. That shit sounds that's another language. Black people don't want to dive into biology. Black people don't want to dive into psychology, quantum physics, melanin. We only want to know about black power, but we don't want to know the essence and the root of what's making us black and powerful, what's making us resilient, because we don't go do our due diligence. So what allows me to understand that truth and know that it is the truth is because I went and did my due diligence. And that's why I can stand firm in what I'm talking about. I would never believe in something that I haven't done and researched myself. That's foolish. I would never ever go and believe something that I haven't seen and researched for myself. And that's what the masses is doing. The masses are out here believing in shit that they haven't even looked up for themselves. People believe that Christ is a white man, but if you do your due diligence and look in the Bible and do your research, Christ is obviously a black man. But and Christians are worshiping a black man, thinking that he white. You see how when you don't do your due diligence and you don't go do your own research, you can be deceived. Nobody can deceive you if you go do your own research. And that's another thing, Chief, Christ teaches us, to go do your research. Believe none of what you see and believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. We are objective thinkers. Christ is a consciousness, the Christos. It's a mentality that you are everything and everything is you. That you are nature and nature is you. A Christian is a follower of God. A Christian is a follower and a believer of Christ. One that lives in tune and in harmony with nature. That lives in tune and in harmony with God's creation. Christians today are not actually Christians. They're the Antichrist. They're anti-Christians. Because you want to know why? They worship a white man when Christ is really a black man. They don't protect and provide for the earth. They destroy the earth. They don't try to take you away from the system. They want you to stay in the system. Even Islam. Salam alaikum to all the ox. You feel me? But even Islam, even Christianity, these religions are keeping you stuck. They're keeping you in the same system that's got you sleep. That's helping you perpetuate your own ignorance. And this how I know it's a lot of false prophets out here, because there's only one man that I know that showed humanity and black people particularly to go back into their natural environment, and that was chief, the most honorable prophet, Eligio to Christ, the all-seeing I3, God, our mother's first son, our mother Lucia's first son. You feel me? So you if you ever talk to a Christian or somebody, you would blow their mind if you ask them simple questions. If you ask them simple questions like, what did God use to create everything? They'll say the word. But if you go further into it, John 1 verse 1, God said, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. But words formulate from thoughts. So in the beginning was the thought, and the thought was God, and the thought came from God. You see what I'm saying? We're doing the same thing. God imagined everything into existence, and we have the same ability to do this. We are actually God. And for you to be a Christian, you have to believe that you are one with God. You cannot, people don't believe that they are God. We are all God. Christ came back and taught people what? That me and the mother are one. They said Father, but he was coming back and saying me and the mother are one. God, Christ was God in the flesh, in human form. Come back to tell everybody else, all the other cells, that hey y'all, we all God. We all a part of our mother in heaven. And I'm the messenger that comes to announce this. But niggas wouldn't listen. Nobody could hear him. Only the chosen could hear him.
Hi guys, what you cooking?
You feel me? So be aware, man. Be aware of the false teachings and the false prophets out here. You're going to be deceived if you believe in that shit. Go do your own due diligence. Go do your own research, man. Chief will tell you that. Go do your research. I don't believe that Christ died at all. And the story about Jesus dying was a story so that everybody could accept Christianity. That was a story so that everybody could relate to Christ, and so that everybody can be on page with Christianity. But that never actually happened, because like I just told you, Christ is the dreamer of our reality. So you cannot kill the dreamer. That's like somebody killing you in your dream. How the fuck can somebody kill you in your dream and it's your dream? They couldn't even exist if you wasn't there. But no, nobody's gonna come and die for your sins. You gonna have to answers for your sins. You feel me? And that's another thing. And that's another thing that these false prophets come and deceive us with. That Jesus came to save us from our sins, and all you gotta do is repent. But that gives you the notion that, oh, all I gotta do is say I'm sorry and repent, and then I can continue to go do fuck shit and just repent every time. No. And then if somebody came to die for your sins, that means that you can't sin anymore. If Christ came and died for your sins, then that means you can't sin no more. If we both was business partners and we own businesses, and you needed a loan for $10,000 because you owe some money, and I said, hey, I'm gonna give you the money. I'm gonna give you the 10 bands. I give you the 10 bands. You're no longer in debt. You're no longer in debt. So if Christ came to die for your sins and took away all your debt, which is your sins, you're no longer in debt. But how the fuck are we still in iniquity? Why are people still sinning? Why is sin still prevalent and present in our reality? You see? And then that right there, that gives you the idea that you don't have to take responsibility for your own actions. For them to tell you that somebody's going to come and die for your wrongdoings and take responsibility for the wrong shit that you do in your life, is going to make you irresponsible, and it's going to give you and enable you to think that, oh shit, well, I can continue to do the wrong thing and just say, hey, Jesus will come forgive me. But that's not how it works, because you're creating residuals for your next lifetime. You're inside the womb of your mother right now, dreaming about your next lifetime. And what you do right now in this reality is going to echo into your next reality. It's going to echo to your next dream. What you go to sleep believing, your next reality must deliver. So be careful what you think. Be careful what you do. Be careful what you say to people. Be careful how you treat people. Be careful what you believe, because tomorrow is going to deliver that to you. You feel me? Be objective, right? Chief teaches us that divine beings, we are objective thinkers. We don't do with subjectivity. Although we are in the world and we're experiencing life subjectively, we have to be objective thinkers, and we have to make sure that we're scientists and observers of nature and be in tune with nature, because that's what God came back to teach us. Christ came back to teach us to live in harmony with the creation so that we can have everlasting life. And whoever is to believe in the consciousness that Chief has come to bring to humanity shall not perish. You shall not perish. You shall not perish. You feel me? So this was the message for y'all today, man. It's a lot of false prophets out here deceiving you. But you can't be deceived if the truth is in you. You can't be deceived if you go do your due diligence, if you go do your research. Study the walk of Christ. Study the teachings of Christ, the modern day Christ, the Eligio Bishop. Make sure you study that. Download that information and hold on to it. Keep the knowledge. Keep the knowledge. Because you're going to need it pretty soon. You're going to need it pretty soon. They've been hitting niggas with the government shutdown and food stamps. That's just a precursor to show you that we're going to be governing ourselves very, very soon. And if you're not under the correct information, it's going to be a rude awakening for you, man. If you listen to these false prophets out here telling you to stay in the system and go get money, go get credit, go get a business, go get all this, not study nature, not study your natal chart, not study how your mind is giving you your reality, how you think, then you're going to be in for a rude awakening, Reflection. Because guess what? Look into nature. Look into nature. What happens when it get too cold outside? What happens when the environment is no longer sustainable for animals to exist in? What do? Animals are so intelligent that they intuitively know through mechanoreceptors, they intuitively know to migrate to another environment because they're connected to the earth. They're grounded. They're connected to the earth at all times. Now, human beings are disconnected from the earth. We wear rubber and wood on our feet at all times. That insulates us from our connection to God, from our connection to the universe. Like Chief teaches us, your connection to the earth is your connection to the universe, because the earth is the universe. So when natural disasters strike and bullshit start to happen in nature, human beings, we lack the knowledge and we lack the understanding and the intuition. Because we're disconnected from nature, we lack the intuition to get those signals and those codes and to make the abrupt and the correct moves, because we're not in tune with our environment. But guess what? If you got the knowledge that Chief has given us, when that time comes, you're going to know exactly what to do. It's just like being on a plane and they telling you, hey, if this bitch go down, y'all nigga, hey, make sure you put your life vest on and your mask on first. Don't try to save nobody. Just put your shit on first. And that's what's going to happen. They give you the knowledge. If you keep the knowledge that they gave you before that shit fell, you will be good. Right? So when natural disasters begin to strike and nature begins to take its course on the planet because of human beings' disobedience to the planet, this is why we got global warming and all this. You're going to need knowledge itself. You're going to have to be in tune with nature and science and understand biology. Understand that you got melanin. And if you live in the northern hemisphere where it's winter at, you're not able to activate your melanin to repair your DNA, which is your mind. Your melanin needs sunlight, UVB radiation. Your bones, your blood, your breath comes from the sun. You need sunlight, Reflection. You need sunlight as a cell inside of God's body. You need to be closer to what you are. The sun is your mind. How close are you to your mind? How aware are you of what you are? That's what Christ will come back and teach you. And that's exactly what Chief came back and taught us. You feel me? We have to get back in tune with nature, Reflection. Yo, what's good, God?
What up, God?
Attune.
Am I coming through clear?
Yeah, you clear.
Am I coming through clear?
Yeah, you clear.
What up with you, man?
All good.
How you feeling?
Another chance opportunity. I'm amazing, man. 3 is free. I'm good.
Good. Why you blocking your circulation, man?
I ain't blocking my circulation. You
True
come,
indeed, true
did
indeed.
you come up to build on what we was talking about, or you just came up
Yeah,
to
I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build, but I got a little opposition. I'm not trying to be too opposite of you, but I respect what you're teaching. But I feel like some stuff is off.
Okay, well, I'm for disagreement, man. What's the word? What you got?
I mean, you saying we are disconnected from the earth and all that, which is true in a lot of sense. But there's a thing called duality, right?
Absolutely.
Good and evil, right?
Yeah,
We can't one can't exist without the other, right?
that's true.
And you know that a lot of humans that are walking around are just bots, right? You know that.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand
Right.
that. I understand that everybody's not meant to wake up in this dream. Everybody's not chosen. There has to be opposition. Like you said, polarity. God is the devil on
Who
the
said
side.
this? What makes this a dream?
What makes this a dream? Well, let me ask you a question. When you woke up last night from your dream, what make you logically think that this isn't a dream either?
I don't dream every night. I'm not conscious to my dreams every night. So I can't.
Let me
when I
ask
go
you
to sleep,
another question.
There's a such thing called. There's different levels to sleep. There's REM sleep, and there's you know what I'm saying. You can go like sometimes at night you can't get no sleep because you tossing and turning. You haven't hit that REM sleep. But I can send you some information on sleep if you want it, because it's a lot of power in sleep, and there's levels to sleep.
Let me ask you a question. How did God create everything?
To answer that question, I would have to be the person that created this, so I can't answer that for you.
Okay, so I'll take you into the Bible then. I'll do this for the viewers in the chat. In John 1 verse 1, it said, "In the beginning was the thought, and the thought was with God, and the thought was God." Now listen. Well, actually, it said in the beginning was the word, but words formulate from thoughts. So we just gonna replace the word with thoughts. Now watch this. If you look up what it means to think means to conjure up an image in the mind. So this means that God conjured up an image in the mind. If you conjuring up an image in the mind, this means to imagine something. When you're imagining something, you're dreaming. So God imagined life or dreamed life into existence, and we are all a part of God's mind. Is this not what we are doing every day? We wake up into a reality and say, "Let there be light," and our thoughts light up our reality. We go into a dream. We go into a dream in our sleep and don't think or realize that we don't wake up into a longer dream that we think is life.
Right. This is how it makes sense to me. Like if God, like the all-seeing power of this realm that we in, because we are in a world, right?
We're inside of our minds. We're inside of our minds. The world is inside of our mind.
Okay, we are inside of we are our soul. We are carrying the body. We are carrying this physical form because we are not this physical form. We are carrying it. That's why some days your body seems heavier than others. Other days. You know what I mean? We don't know what we are. What we are. You reference the Bible, but you have to take yourself back into those times when there was no clocks, where there were no TVs, and where there was no nothing to entertain people. Because as you see, when you look into society today, people are becoming more slower because of the devices. Like music ain't even the same because people are so distracted. But back in those times, all they had was time to write stories. And what happened was, if you think deep enough and put yourself in a time where when you're sitting around and you're learning how to read and write, and you're learning how to use your imagination, because everything comes from your imagination. That's where cars came from. That's where guns came from.
Let me say this real quick, God. Let me say this real quick. You just answered your question. If everything comes from our imagination, that means that life is an imagination. Life is a dream.
Okay. I can accept that. However, where's the proof that life is a dream? Show me proof.
You just gave us the proof, and then we can break down the science just through our observation. It's not objective or logical for you not to think that when you woke up last night from your dream that you didn't enter a longer dream. What is this? Let me ask you this. What is this that you're in right now? What is this that we're existing in? How did we get here?
I wish I knew. I wish I could find somebody to actually tell me what this is so I can live this life perfectly. But because nobody actually came down and actually gave us the information, because if that's the case, people wouldn't continue to do tests. If that's the case, you will be born with the concept of God versus being told about the concept of God. Because when you're born, when your first words ain't God, your first words are dad and mama. Your first words, you don't even know what God is until people start telling you about God.
Right. So
you're not born with that native intuition. You're born, you know when you're thirsty though. You know when you're hungry though. But you're not born. They tell you that God exists.
But yeah, though, did that
you don't know for sure.
Did that answer your question?
I'm sorry?
I said, did that answer your question?
I mean, I don't know.
Because
I know
you was just at opposition, but now it seems that you agree with me.
I agree with you, and I agree with you because I understand. I understand a lot of what you understand, but I just feel like, I just have awoken to a different perspective than you. See, we are not different in the sense of wanting our people to wake up, in a sense, because our people are the power source. I do understand that, and because we are under attack, and the level that we on right now, it just ain't working for us because we are imploding. You know what I mean? We are killing ourselves. You understand? And there's a reason for that. But what they did was they ripped us of our imagination to create for ourselves. But when we can't,
who is they?
The people who are in opposition to our race, so to speak. But we are all one race.
Who is that?
You know who that was, because white people only been around for a certain amount of time. They wasn't always around. They were created. They were a race that was created, and they sought to destroy us. So what they did was they put in positions and used certain tactics to fuck with our mental. You understand? Because your mental could be messed with. You could be shot up with chloroquine, and you could think a totally different way. Your genetics could be off.
Let me say this. Let me respond to that. This is what I want to respond to what he said, y'all. There is no they. And this is another thing that I want to point out about false prophets. I'm not talking about you though, Fluid.
Yeah. I'm with you.
This is what I want to point out too. They'll point out that they did this and the white man did this and somebody did this and they did this and this did that. But the real Christ gonna come back and show you that, hey, you are everything. That's what Christ is. The Christ consciousness is the mentality that you are everything and that there is no they, there is no them. What we perceive as the white man or the Caucasian is our lower self. They are a physical manifestation of our disobedience and what we used to do to nature and to human beings, right? If you look at the movie The Prince of Egypt, it's a little Disney movie. It show you black people enslaving, whooping, and fucking up white people in that movie. So now what we see today is nothing but a residual effect of our consequences and our karma. There is nobody outside of you. There is no enemy. The only enemy you have is the inner me. It's the inner you. Because life is a reflection of your astrological program. So what you see as another person is nothing but an angle of light that's reflecting or deflecting back to you in the right way or the wrong way. There is no they. There is no them outside of you. Nobody's doing anything to you. It's our perspective and how we perceive things that gets us in the situations that we are in. Nobody's doing nothing to you. And this is what I want y'all to know, because when you point the finger, you miss the point. Don't point the finger.
Oh my God! Hold on. Can I stop you right there? Go
ahead.
You can't say that.
Why can't I?
You can't say when you point the finger.
I can't say that. Let me say this. Let me finish. I can't say that because you have to take responsibility for you. If you came and smacked me in my face, I don't give a fuck what you did. My response is going to determine my reality. I don't give a fuck what the catalyst did. I'm not pointing the finger at the bird, the tree, the other person, what they did to me. No, how did I get myself in this situation? How could I get myself out of this situation? I'm only looking at me. I don't give a fuck about what nobody else is doing. If I have compassion for other people, I have discernment, I make sure I stay away from people. But it's accountability, exactly, DT. It's accountability and being responsible for your own energies, MODs, self-control.
Okay, I can accept that. I don't have nothing against that. I can accept that.
You feel me? Honor thyself said you can point out others doings and not miss your own accountability. Well, it's not about pointing out other people's doings. It's more so you being an observer and using discernment, because that person may be showing you something that you need to be doing or something that you don't need to be doing. You feel what I'm saying?
All right, let me ask you a question real quick. You got a son, right? Say you got a son. Hold on, listen. This is hypothetical. I don't know your personal life. This is a hypothetical situation. I got a son. I can use my son. You got a son. You grew up in the streets all your life, right? Hypothetically. And you know what come with the streets, right? But you raise your child to be a certain way, but then they turn out to be another way. They turn out to be the street that you know is going to get them killed or put in jail. But you can stop them. You know where all the drugs is. You know where everything is. You can stop them. You can stop the whole shit. Go take their drugs or not. But what are you going to do? Are you going to let them do what they doing and let them find out on their own, or are you going to step in?
Well, okay, so to respond to that, I got a different perspective on things. So when it comes to having children, I know that child is a cell, and a cell can only vibrate as high as its own environment. So it don't matter what I'm teaching my child. If my child isn't in an environment that's showing it all the time, this, that, drugs, violence, then 9 times out of 10, don't matter what I teach that child is going to be ruled and regulated by their environment, because it's called epigenetics. Your environment is.
Do you know this cell phone is an environment? Do you know this cell phone is an environment? You don't need to be. You don't no longer need to. Not to cut you off, but you don't no longer need to be physically in that environment to adapt that reality. The reality is now everywhere.
Appreciate that, guy. No, I get that.
The reality is now everywhere.
I get that, and that's why you have to use discernment and have knowledge yourself, because like you said, the phone is an environment as well. But you can place your physical body in a certain environment where it's healthy for you, and then you can utilize the phone for what you need to utilize it for. Everybody don't know how to use devices. Everybody don't know how to use technology.
Hold on.
You said, hold on, tell who you talking about.
Like, why you talking like that? Like, don't pay attention to that, yo. Fuck that. Listen, my point is this. With all of these distractions everywhere, right? All of these distractions everywhere. People are now in a state of, they are not in a state of anymore. There's so much noise going around, and because you're saying when you point the finger, you miss the point.
Absolutely.
But at times we have to point the finger because we have to find the cause of the problem, and the only way to find the cause of the problem is to point the finger.
And listen, let me say this. And then when we get down, I hear what you're saying, but when we get down to the bottom of it, the root, the science and the facts of the matter, there is nobody outside of your reflection. Everybody is an image being formed in your mind. You're even experiencing me inside of your mind. I'm not on this phone. So we can't point the finger at nobody because there's nobody outside of you. And for you to point the finger, you're going to get a whole mirror pointing back at you so that you can look at what you did or what you didn't do. Your reality is always going to bring it back to you. It don't matter what you pointed out about somebody else. You still got to go deal with you and how you responded to that scenario. It's always going to boil back down to you. That's why we say I love myself, because life is you.com. It's me based.
Yeah, it's you.com. However, it can't be about you, which is, and I love that point because it gives me the ability to let you know that's why you got 2 eyes, 2 arms, 2 fingers, and 10 toes, and 2 legs to walk to others, to actually, because If you had no glass mirror, if the mirror was not created, you would never know what you look like unless you looked into a still stream.
Let me ask you this.
Hold on. Let me finish my point.
Let me ask you this one thing. Let me ask you this one thing. Who created the mirror?
The imagination did.
Your imagination did, right? So everything that goes into that mirror is a part of you. It's not separate from you. It cannot be outside of you because you created the mirror. You only gonna be reflecting yourself back to you.
I get that part. No. I understand that. I already understand that it's all about me. However, I also understand that it's not, and it can't be, because I can't do it by myself. And you can say that you're supposed to love yourself, because that's true. However, I'm supposed to love you too.
I get that.
I'm supposed to love everything outside of me.
I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement.
Listen, let me finish. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
When you use your arms, when you use your legs, you are benefiting the reality. When you don't use your arms and you don't use your legs, you're not benefiting the reality. You say that the woman is God. If you're not benefiting the woman, there's no point in even regurgitating that language.
Why
because
not?
You have to.
Why not?
Because you're just saying it. There's no action behind it.
How am I not benefiting the woman? The earth is the womb that we fucking exist in. I'm making sure I play my role on the earth and protecting the earth. How am I not benefiting the earth? How am I not benefiting God? I'm helping. I'm repeating the message to the rest of the cells inside of her body. How am I not helping the planet?
You ever heard the term show and prove?
Absolutely.
Okay. It's as simple as that.
Show and prove to who though?
Show and prove to the A life that you trying to find.
Because guess what? It says to store your treasures in heaven and not on earth where moth and vermin can come steal and destroy it. So you want me to show and prove, but show you what? My treasures are stored in heaven, in my mind, where moth and vermin can't steal and destroy them. So what am I showing? Who am I showing what?
That's respectfully, bro. That's a cop out, bro.
It's not
respectfully, because you gotta. We are still in a world. If you pinch yourself, you gonna feel it. You can't say that you're not gonna pinch yourself. Pinch yourself right now. This is the problem. Let me say this.
I want to say this real quick. This is the problem with our belief systems, y'all, and this is the problem with our faith. We want to just believe some shit. We just want to believe some shit, y'all.
Exactly. I feel the same way.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. We don't have faith. We want to be shown this. Show me. But sometimes it's gonna take for you to have faith and apply that intuition to your life, for you to show yourself. But everybody wants somebody else to show them and want Jesus to come and show and be responsible for your sins and come save you. Why somebody gotta show you? Why you can't show yourself through your discernment and your due diligence what is real and what is true to you?
I'm gonna tell you why right now. Because you have beings, because we're all one. Absolutely. Who grow up in environments who don't know love, who don't know how to make choices. You have people out here who don't know where they belong and they become gangsters. You know what I'm saying? So if you putting a message out there, the best way to put that message out there is to show them that the message is working. If you put a message out and with no, it makes it hard for people to believe you. It makes it hard for the aliens.
Let me say this, reflective.
Let me finish my point.
Go ahead.
Let me finish my point real quick. It makes it hard for the youth to believe anything you saying if you don't have no proof behind what it is. And I have to say this, and I have to add this point, and this is no shade at all. When your chief had everybody over there, he had more people wanting to come. But when people started to leave, people didn't want to come no more. So you got to show and prove what you're doing. You can't just say what you're doing or say what it is and point that out to be fact. You have to show them why that's fact.
Well, that's why we give you
You
guys.
say you say you say the
Hold on. Let me finish. Let
you
me
say
finish.
the black woman is God.
Let me say
You
this.
gotta go get one and show them
Let me
why
say
she's
this.
God.
Let me say this. Let me say this.
Because there's different aspects to it. You know what I'm saying? That they not gonna see. You just can't
Look.
regurgitate
This
it and
is what I
expect
want to
people
say.
to get it.
This is what I want to say. In the Bible, Christ was teaching people parables, right? They never said anything, or Christ never showed nobody about his personal life or none of that, and everybody believed it. I'm teaching you about science and truth and facts that you can go search for yourself. You don't have to see my personal life for you to believe in what I'm saying.
You do.
No,
We do.
you
We
don't.
do.
You don't. And that's where the problem is. Everybody in this bitch watchers. Everybody want to watch somebody else's life, but don't want to live and don't want to play their own life. Niggas want to see somebody else doing some shit. Show me and then I'll do it. What?
What about the person right now? Because there's a person right now who's growing up abused, who only has a phone. They only have a phone. They're in a room right now. They're growing up abused, and they may run across your content and run across you talking and listening to you talk, and they trying to gain the courage to get out of their house, but they only seeing you talk. They're not seeing you do nothing else.
Fluid. And guess what? Them hearing my voice is just enough for that person to want to get up and do something from within themselves. When I heard Chief talking in 2017, I didn't care what he was doing. When I heard his voice, I was compelled because I heard something that hit my bones, and I was compelled to change. I was compelled to get up and do my own due diligence, do my own research, save myself, look up what I need to look up. I didn't point the finger at this, that, and the third. None of that, man. I just went in. Like Honor Thyself said, I went within my imagination and I changed my perspective on what life is through Chief's knowledge. And it comes to be true through my observation, through my experience, right? You feel me? Through me observing my life. And that's just what it is. You feel me? You know, niggas just gotta go do their own due diligence. You feel me? We waiting, just like that Jesus stuff. We waiting for Jesus or somebody to come save us and show us something. It's already here in front of your face. Somebody already came and told you what you needed to do. But since you ain't see it, you don't believe it, or you don't want to go check it out. You want to see it, but when a person came and told you about it, you ain't believe them. So that's on y'all. And that's what it is. Some people are under the prophecy of Isaiah. For some people would be hearing but never hearing. Some people will seeing but never perceive. Because the truth is not in y'all. Y'all want people to show y'all some shit and tell y'all some shit, but y'all don't want to go do your own due diligence. And that's why people are confused. That's why people are being misled by false prophets and shit right now. Because nobody wants.
Let me ask you a question. Let's use the sport of football. How do you learn to play football if you don't watch them play?
I don't know, and I don't promote anybody to go play football because that's stupidity.
Well, see, I'm using football as I'm using football as an example. All right, let me use the garden. How do you learn to garden if you never see nobody garden? You know what I'm saying? You have to try. You could probably learn and try through trial and error.
It depends what you think of as gardening, because Babylon show us gardening is us sitting down planting seeds, but when real gardening is us eating the food that we get from the tree and us dropping our pot back on the ground and planting that seed through our. But yeah, y'all, my live died. I don't know if Flu is still in here, but my live died, man. But that was the download for y'all for today, man. Reflect the life from the honorable prophet, Elijah of Christ. I love myself. Peace to the gods.